Corey Stewart, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Congratulations on the win on Tuesday. You narrowly lost to Gillespie in the primary. Now you narrowly win this one. Does it concern you? I mean, how do you earn the votes who went to Freitas and Jackson, even the Democrats for that matter, who haven't jumped ship yet? And I mean, how do you get the Republicans who don't support the president to see it your way?
Well, look, after every single primary or convention, every nomination process, there are always going to be these divisions. But as time goes on, and as people recognize the fact that really the control of the United States Senate is in stake, and the Republicans, if we were going to ever win another statewide election this year, we've got to get together, and we're going to have to work to defeat Tim Kaine. There's just too much. There's too much on the line for hurt feelings and all that, and I understand that. People are going to have those feelings, but ultimately they're going to have to come around because we need a senator in the United States Senate who supports the president, not a U.S. senator like Tim Kaine who's trying to undermine the president and undermine the president's policies at every chance that he gets.
I know you said that after your win on Tuesday that you're going to set up a vicious campaign. What is it that you're having to prove to Virginians about Tim Kaine?
Well, this guy, Tim Kaine, has one thing in mind and one thing only, and that is his own left-wing ideology and his hatred for President Trump. That's it. Mm-hmm. There's a big question that we have to ask for Virginians, and this is one to Democrats as well. What has Tim Kaine done? Can you point to one thing? Can you point to one significant thing that Tim Kaine has achieved over the past 6 years as a United States Senator that he's done for Virginia? The only thing he's done in the last 6 years is run for vice president, and he didn't even do a good job at that.
So when you came out and you made the comment that you were going to run a vicious campaign, Kaine jumped on that pretty quick and said that he didn't think Virginians liked that. Didn't think they liked the tone of it and didn't think they were going to respond to it. Now, I, for one, as big of a supporter as I am for Donald Trump and some of the things that he's done, I do not like the excessive tweeting. I don't like the arrogance, and I don't like the slandering and slamming that he does sometimes. I think it's kind of tacky. You've been accused of that, of doing some of that. So what are you going to say to people like me who like you? They like your message. They like what it is that you're wanting to do, but sometimes they're turned off by the tone that you used.
Well, what I tell people is this: if you want an elected leader who agrees with you on everything, you need to run for office yourself. Because at the end of the day, I have to run this campaign the way that I know is going to win. And sometimes, people may not like that. I understand that. But at the end of the day, my job, now that Republicans have nominated me, is to go into that ring and fight like a demon to get this guy removed. He's bad for Virginia. Tim Kaine is very, very bad for Virginia. Mm-hmm. It's not so much about style. It's about, when I talk about vicious and ruthless and brutal, I'm talking about viciously and ruthlessly and brutally bringing up the truth about Tim Kaine. And the truth of the matter, too, is that we have a president of the United States who's moving this country in a very positive direction. For the first time since 1950, we have peace breaking out on the Korean Peninsula. Mm-hmm. We've got the lowest unemployment rates since the early 1970s, and something that I saw when I was down in Southwest Virginia just last week is the revitalization of manufacturing. It's coming back to this country under this president's policies. We have way too much at stake to just pussyfoot around and try to be nice and say nice things when the truth of the matter is going to be a lot more brutal than that. And that's what I mean by those things.
So when he said yesterday, when he said, what Virginians want is someone with a vision, and I have a vision. I've had a vision since the 1980s. Did you hear that line?
Yeah,
I think like, dude, come on.
That's the thing. People are so sick and tired of these fluffy words because they don't mean anything. And what's so refreshing, I think, about President Trump, and I've tried to be the same way in this regard, and that is people just want the truth. They don't want you to They don't want a bunch of soft words that don't mean anything, that are really fake and phony. Because in a way, when you're just saying all kinds of pleasantries, it's a form of lying. It really is. It's a lack of truth, and that's what people are so disgusted by in American politics. They want the brutal truth, even if it's uncomfortable.
Corey Stewart is with us this morning on the morning line. Corey, with the IG report that came out yesterday, President Trump says that the Justice Watchdog report on Clinton email probe shows FBI was biased against him at the top level. Then we have a tweet from Senator Mark Warner yesterday who said the release of this Inspector General report confirms what has been clear for some time, though FBI leadership made errors in judgment in the run-up to the election. Those actions were not influenced by any political bias.
Well, I mean, did he bother to read the report? Did Mark Warner bother to read this report?
That's what I was saying.
What report did he get?
And he's tweeting, and you're like, dude, come on.
When you have an FBI official, and their official saying that they're going to use the resources of the Federal Bureau of Investigation to stop President Trump from becoming president of the United States, that's not an error in judgment. That is treason. It is an absolute abuse of power, and it's an abuse of power by the top law enforcement agency in the United States. And this is a very serious matter. And by the way, the reason that Mark Warner and Tim Kaine are trying to dismiss this is because Virginia Republicans are at the center of this. From McCabe to McAuliffe, and there's no question that Tim Kaine is involved in this. It's going to come out. There's no way he knew all the key actors. He, of course, was on the ticket with Hillary Clinton. There's no way in God's green earth that Tim Kaine was not involved in this scandal.
Corey, can you break down this whole tariff thing? Now, China says it's going to retaliate against any move by the U.S. to impose punishing tariffs on tens of billions of dollars of Chinese goods. President Trump announcing 25% tariff on Chinese technology. And then Trump has now said that he's hitting China with tariffs of $50 billion worth of exports. What's your take?
Well, the president is doing exactly the right thing. Now, I say this, as you know, this is my background. This is what I do for a living. I'm an international trade attorney. And for the past 70 years, and really for the past 20 years, the United States has allowed our trading partners to run all over American businesses, American industries, and American workers. And the reason we did that, it was because we wanted all of these trading partners to take our side in the Cold War. Well, now, all these years later, the result of all that is that we've lost our manufacturing base in America. We've lost our manufacturing base in Virginia, including down in Southside and Martinsville and Danville. I mean, once thriving industrial centers are gone. And the only way we're going to get these back is to renegotiate these deals and to force our trading partners, notably China, most importantly China, to remove their barriers to American-made goods so we can sell our manufactured goods in China. And that's the reason why we have a massive trade deficit with these countries. Now, here's the thing. We hold all the cards. Why? Because we have a deficit with them. They have a surplus with us. They have a lot more to lose than we do in this country, and that's why when you stare them down, they're the ones who are going to blink.
We haven't had a chance to talk about it. The summit that took place this week in Singapore. I mean, is this going to go places? Are we expecting too much just from signing one letter?
Well, this is, of course, it's not over yet, and there's going to be, whatever the intentions are of the North Koreans, we may never know. We certainly don't know right now. It will take continued pressure from the administration. Very, very tough negotiations are going on right now, and they will continue probably for the next few years. But this is a huge accomplishment. There's no question. It cannot be underestimated or understated how significant this is, because it's the first time since 1950 that there has not been a declared war going on in the Korean Peninsula. Just think about the opportunity here to remove this threat of a capable, nuclear capable and country in North Korea that has been threatening with increasing technology, increasing intercontinental ballistic missile technology, the ability to hit the United States. If President Trump can remove that threat, it's an absolutely massive accomplishment.
So now that you have the primary behind you, how do you kick up the campaign to take on Tim Kaine, which we were just saying the other day, the Tim Kaine today that was governor and ran for Senate is not the same Tim Kaine today that we're seeing.
That's certainly right. And I think that perhaps for those of who know him best, those who knew him when he was mayor of Richmond and so forth, they knew that he was always very, very left-wing. But he had an image. There was this image of Tim Kaine as more of a moderate guy, more of the moderate Democrat, kind of like in the mold of Mark Warner. But he's never really been that way. And I think what's happened is that when he ran for vice president, his partisanship, his left-wing, far extreme left-wing ideology has been exposed. And now Virginians know that, and that's why, by the way, his approval rating is below 50%. In fact, well below 50%, down at 44%, because Virginians see that. And when an incumbent is below 50%, especially that much lower, he's in trouble. And we have a good shot at taking him out.
Corey Stewart, we got to leave it right there. I hope we're going to hear from you quite a bit between now and Election Day in November. Congratulations again on the victory. And we do look forward to talking to you here on The Morning Line.
I love your show. I hope to be on many more times.